The following program has been pre-recorded. All rights reserved to FAK3 News and McCullough Films. Portions of this program are entirely fictional. Good afternoon, I'm John McCurdy from FAK3 News, the place for all your screams and dreams, and this is On the Hour. For tonight's terrifying Halloween special, we will have spooky stories, as well as the partially true accounts of monsters in our very own AHS. This, of course, will be accompanied by MP3 sound effects and the reporting you have come to love. The music for tonight has been provided by Miss Morgue at McCurdy Family Funeral Home. Come for the reduced prices. Stay because you're dead. Now, without further ado, let's get into our first song, Stella by Starlight by Jackie Gleason. Well, it's a rainy afternoon here at the studio, and a perfect one for our new literary section. Today we'll go over a spooky story to get everyone into the Halloween mood. The story for today is The Oval Portrait by Edgar Allan Poe. It was published in 1845 in the Broadway Journal, Volume 1, Issue 17. The chateau into which my valet had ventured to make forcible entrance, rather than permit me, in my desperately wounded condition, to pass the night in the open air, was one of those piles of commingled gloom and grandeur which have so long frowned among the Apennines, not less in fact than the fancy of Mr. Radcliffe. To all appearance it had been temporarily and very lately abandoned. We established ourselves in one of the smallest and least sumptuously furnished apartments. I lay in a remote turret of the building. Its decorations were rich, yet tattered and antique. Its walls were hung with tapestry and bedecked with manifold and multiform armorial trophies, together with an unusually great number of very spirited modern paintings in frames of rich golden arboresque. In these paintings, which depended from the walls not only in their main surfaces, but in very many nooks which the bizarre architecture of the chateau rendered necessary, in these paintings my incipient delirium, perhaps, had caused me to take deep interest, so that I bade Pedro to close the heavy shutters of the room, since it was already night, to light the tongues of the tall candelabrum which stood by the head of my bed, and to throw open far and wide the fringed curtains of black velvet which enveloped the bed itself. I wished all this done that I might resign myself, if not to sleep, at least alternatively to the contemplation of these pictures, and the perusal of a small volume which had been found under the pillow, and which I purported to criticize and describe them. Long, long I read, and devoutly, devotedly I gazed. Rapidly and gloriously the hours flew by, and the deep midnight came. The position of the candelabrum displeased me, and outreaching my hand with difficulty, rather than disturb my slumbering valet, I placed it so as to throw its rays more fully upon the book. But the action produced an effect altogether unanticipated. The rays of the numerous candles, for there were many, now fell within a niche of the room which had hitherto been thrown into deep shade by one of the bedposts. I thus saw in vivid light a picture all unnoticed before. It was the portrait of a young girl just ripening into womanhood. I glanced at the painting hurriedly, and then closed my eyes. Why I did this was not at first apparent even to my own perception, but while my lids remained thus shut, I ran over in my mind my reason for so shutting them. It was an impulsive movement to gain time for thought, to make sure that my vision had not deceived me, to calm and subdue my fancy for a more sober and more certain gaze. In a very few moments, I again looked fixedly at the painting. That I now saw aright I could not and would not doubt, for the first flashing of the candles upon that canvas had seemed to dissipate the dreamy stupor which was stealing over my senses, and to startle me at once into waking life. The portrait, I have already said, was that of a young girl. It was a mere head and shoulders, done in what is technically termed a vignette manner, much in the style of the favorite heads of Sully. The arms, the bosom, and even the ends of the radiant hair melted imperceptibly into a vague yet deep shadow which formed the background of the whole. The frame was oval, richly gilded and filigreed in Moresque. As a thing of art, nothing could be more admirable than the painting itself, but it could have been neither the execution of the work, nor the immortal beauty of the countenance, which had so suddenly and so vehemently moved me. Least of all could it have been that my fancy, shaken from its half slumber, had mistaken from the head for that of a living person. I saw at once that the peculiarities of the design, the vignetting, and the frame must have instantly dispelled such an idea, must have prevented me from even its momentary entertainment. Thinking earnestly upon these points, I remained, for an hour perhaps, half sitting, half reclining, with my vision riveted upon the portrait. At length, satisfied with the true secret of its effect, I fell back within the bed. I had found the spell of the picture in an absolute life-likeliness of expression, which, at first startling, finally confounding, subdued, and appalled me. With deep and reverent awe, I replaced the candelabrum in its former position. The cause of my deep agitation being thus shut from view, I sought eagerly the volume which discussed the paintings and their histories. Turning to the number which designated the oval portrait, I read the vague and quaint words which follow. She was a maiden of rarest beauty, and not more lovely than full of glee. And evil was the hour when she saw, and loved, and wedded the painter. He, passionate, studious, austere, and having already bride in his art. She, a maiden of rarest beauty, and not more lovely than full of glee, all light and smiles, and frolicsome as the young fawn, loving and cherishing all things, hating only the art which was her rival, dreading only the palette and brushes and other untoward instruments which deprived her of the countenance of her lover. It was thus a terrible thing for this lady to hear the painter speak of his desire to portray even his young bride. But she was humble and obedient, and sat meekly for many weeks in the dark, high turret chamber where the light dripped upon the pale canvas only from overhead. But he, the painter, took glory in his work, and went on from hour to hour, and from day to day. And he was a passionate, and wild, and moody man, who became lost in reveries, so that he would not see that the light which fell so ghastly in a lone turret withered the health and the spirits of his bride, who pined visibly to all but him, because she saw that the painter, who had high renown, took a fervid and burning pleasure in his task, and wrought day and night to depict her who so loved him, yet who grew daily more dispirited and weak. And in sooth, some who beheld the portrait spoke of its resemblance in low words, as of a mighty marvel, and a proof not less of the power of the painter than of his deep love for her whom he depicted so surpassingly well. But at length, as the labor drew nearer in its conclusion, there were admitted none into the turret, for the painter had grown wild with the ardor of his work, and turned his eyes from the canvas merely, even to regard the countenance of his wife. And he would not see that the tints which spread upon the canvas were drawn from the cheeks of her who sate beside him. And when many weeks bad passed, and but little remained to do, save one brush upon the mouth and one tint upon the eye, the spirit of the lady again flickered up as a flame within the socket of a lamp. And then the brush was given, and the tint was placed, and, for one moment, the painter stood entranced before the work which he had wrought. But in the next, while he yet gazed, he grew tremulous and very pallid, aghast, and crying with a loud voice, "This is indeed life itself!" turned suddenly to regard his beloved. She was dead.
When I hear that serenade in blue, I'm somewhere in another world alone with you, sharing all the joys we used to know many moons ago. Once again your face comes back to me, like the theme of some forgotten melody. In the album of my memory, serenade in blue. It seems like only yesterday I struck carefully across the floor, and as we danced the night away, I hear you say forevermore. And then the song became a sigh, forevermore became goodbye. But you remained in my heart. So tell me, darling, is there still a spark? Or only lonely ashes of the flame we knew? Should I go on whistling in the dark, serenade in blue? When I hear that serenade in blue, I'm somewhere in another world alone with you, sharing all the joys we used to know. Many moons ago. Once again your face comes back to me, just like the theme of some forgotten melody in the album of my memory. Serenade. Oh, tell me, darling, is there still a spark? Or only lonely ashes on the flame we knew? Should I go on whistling in the dark?
Now it's time to lighten things up a little bit. Today we have an interesting news section on past monsters who have attended AHS and the activities they have done. Now, most of them have had very bad luck, and because of that, we will not use their actual names, however, just the species of monster. Mr. A. Frankenstein did basketball and ended up being extremely good due to his height and how much he intimidated other players. He actually ended up playing for the Salem Gravetrotters and was kicked off the team when he accidentally replaced his own head with a basketball during a gruesome match. Next, Mr. B. Vampire was present in multiple cooking competitions held by our home ec class, but was disqualified after the Lennox Valley cook-off because of using unorthodox ingredients. Mr. C. Mummy participated in speech and debate, but was removed from the team due to the fact that he turned out to be 3,000 years too old to be in high school. Miss D. Witch ran cross country, but was disqualified from running in the sport because she once used her broom to fly through the course. She still holds the unofficial World 5K record of 3:21. The one and only Davy Jones was once on the swim team, but was barred from competition because he once condemned a fellow swimmer to eternity under the sea, which was against the team's policy. And lastly, Mr. Invisible Man. He was in the high school production of Rude Girls as Donovan, but was cut from the cast. His director said, quote, "He had a lovely voice, but just no stage presence." Now next we're lining up a little bit more even in the music. We're playing In the Mood by Glenn Miller. Now, for our real news section, we have some interviews with student athletes here at AHS. These are Benton McLaren and Leighton Wales. I spoke to them both yesterday about what it's like to be a freshman athlete at AHS and how they balance their school and lives. Here are those interviews. All right, today I'm here with Benny McLaren. He is an athlete here at AHS. He plays football and he's a freshman. Thanks for coming on, Benny.
Yes.
Benny, now I'd like you to start by just summing up the season. I know you played some freshman, some JV, and even had some varsity starts on kickoff. So could you just give us a summary of what your season has been like as it comes to a close?
Freshman, we did pretty good. Uh, we have a good team, a good group of kids, and we showed that a lot in their field. JV, we did pretty good. I mean, we have very high ups, very high downs, but we overall did pretty good. And then varsity made it to the playoffs versus Bishop Heelan on Friday, and it should be a good game for us.
I'd like you to talk a little bit about your varsity starts because it is a little unusual to have a freshman on varsity. Are you the only freshman on varsity?
No, it's me, James Brower, Hayden Harris, Colton Anderson, and Skylar Bertram.
So you've got a varsity shoot for kickoff, is that right?
Yes.
And have you had any tackles on kickoff or any memorable moments?
It was Creston's homecoming. It was a pretty close game, and we had kickoff, kicked it down the field. I ran down the field. There was no one there, no one to block me. I tackled a dude at probably the 20-yard line. The whole crowd goes crazy. Coach Brummer is going crazy with us. Just the whole crowd just lights up, and the atmosphere is just insane compared to freshman games.
Well, that's good. That sounds amazing. Now, you are playing with your brother on that team. Could you tell us a little bit about what that's like, having the brotherly love on your team?
It's pretty crazy to play on the same team as your brother because you hate him mostly at home. So going playing the sport with him is crazy. We against Perry, we were up by a lot, and Gavin was in at fullback, I was in at running back, and we ran 29 toss, and he tripped and he didn't block the dude, and I got tackled, and we always joke about it because we wish we could relive that moment because he wishes we could have scored on that, but we couldn't.
Now, with sports, you also do have academics. So could you tell me a little bit about how it's been balancing academics and sports?
Yeah, I prioritize school a lot. I don't like to fail and I like to have good grades. My mom and my dad pushed me to strive in school, and I just take school a full. I just take school prioritize a lot over everything.
All right. Well, that was Benny McLaren. Thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
All right. Hi, Leighton. How are you today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. We're glad to have you on here. It's a good way to add to our student athlete section today. So, Leighton, would you please tell us a little bit about what you do here for athletics in Atlantic?
Well, in the fall I do cross country, and then in the winter I do basketball, and in the spring I do track.
Oh, great, great. And of course, cross country season just wrapping up. Just as an overall summary, how'd it go?
Well, I think it went pretty good. I saw a lot of growth throughout the year, but I would have liked to start the season off a little bit better. And anyways, I probably got like 6 minutes better on my 5K time. So yeah, pretty
6 minutes. That is a very impressive growth from the start of the season to the end. So what was your beginning time, and what time did you end at then?
Well, the first meet was DCG, which was everybody else's second meet. So it didn't go great. I probably got like around 26 minutes, and then I kind of dropped at Ballard, but then the last few meets I've gotten around 22, so pretty good drop. Yeah.
And did you run at state qualifying?
I did run at state qualifying for varsity. I didn't love the Ames course, but did run a 30-second PR, so can't complain with that.
Wow, and what was that PR?
Well, it was 22:48, which was a full course, but at Tri-Center I did run a little faster, but it was a short course and not too many hills on that course, so yeah.
Sure. Now, cross country is kind of known for their great team atmosphere. Would you just like to say anything on that team atmosphere in cross and what it's like to be on that team?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite parts, and I think the only thing that keeps me coming back, and I just love the team atmosphere. You make pretty much like your best friends on the team, and there's so many seniors that literally just feel like they're freshmen just because how close you are with them.
Sure. Do you have any favorite memories from the year?
Oh, that's kind of a hard one. I really like mile repeats. I know everybody thinks that's kind of crazy, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. And then just team nights and everything like that was super fun.
Well, good, good. Now, of course, you are an academic as well as an athlete. So how has balancing school and athletics been?
Honestly, it's been a little tough, but I mean, just getting my work done in school is, the best part. Like, you don't have to worry about it when you get home. And then just weekends, I've been working on it and catching up on it on weekends and studying pretty hard. So it's not too terrible yet, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it, Leighton.
Yeah, thank you.
This is On the Hour I'm John McCurdy with FAK3 News.
Hi there, Jax. How'd you do, romance? The one you met at the campus dance. Wait until you see her, you'll agree. My hometown gal's the only one for me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I got a gal in Kalamazoo. Don't wanna boast, but I know she's a toast of Kalamazoo, zoo, 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 zoo. Years have gone by, my, how she grew. I liked her looks when I carried her books in Kalamazoo, zoo, 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 zoo. I'm gonna send a wire, hopping on a flyer, leaving today. Am I dreaming? I can hear her screaming. Hi, Mr. Jackson, everything's okay. A-L-A-M-A-C-O. What a gal, a real pimperoo. I'll make my bed for that freckle-faced kid I'm hurrying to. I'm gonna make sure you get to see the sweetest gal in Kalamazoo.
Well, that about wraps up the spoken section for tonight, but don't worry, there's more music on the way with a big bouquet of roses from Tennessee Ernie Ford and Spanish Eyes. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's spooky version of On the Hour with John McCurdy. On the Hour is produced by FAK3 News in cooperation with McCullough Films. All rights to the music can be found in the description of the video. Remember to keep your feet on the ground and your hands reaching for the sky. I'm John McCurdy. Goodbye.
I'm sending you a big bouquet of roses, one for every time you broke my heart. And as the door of love between us closes, tears will fall like petals when we part. I beg you to be different, but you'll always be untrue. I'm tired of forgiving, now there's nothing left to do. So I'm sending you a big bouquet of roses, one for every time you broke my heart. it's new tomorrow. With a broken heart you come to cry. I know that I should leave after all you put me through. But how can I remember when I'm still in love with you? So I'm sending you a big bouquet of roses, one for every time you grow my Spanish teardrops are falling from your Spanish eyes. Please don't cry. This is just adios and not goodbye. I'll return, bringing you all the love your heart can hold. Say you and your Spanish eyes will wait for me. Bringing you all the love your heart can hold. Say you and your Spanish eyes will wait for me. Say you and your Spanish eyes will wait for me. Wait for me.